Did you just take the straw out of your ice water, making unbroken eye contact with me, and then commence to just dump that straw full of cold-ass water on my foot? Is that what just happened?
I thought it was empty.
Now we're both empty. Welcome to the Elusive History Podcast.
You found us!
We are a hard-to-find history podcast. Harder to find than a bottle of mid-strength laudanum. Well, harder to find than a bottle of mid-strength laudanum that's available for purchase today. Also, harder to find than a towel to dry off my chilly foot. I'm your host, owner of a pair of hemostats and mercury medicine enthusiast, Levi Van Lyndsay.
Ooh, and I'm your other host, amateur horse podiatrist and maker of tinctures, Lyndsay Burnett.
Also, put emotional terrorist on that list as well, because, guys, I can't...
Unintentional emotional terrorist.
She stared deep into my soul, and then she just commenced to just pour that water on my foot. It's between my toes. It's still cold. It's very disturbing.
Do you need a heating blanket for your toes?
I might. I very well might. I mean, I don't... Okay.
Ooh.
So, at the top of the show, we like to do a little quick existential quick draw with y'all. This is that part of the show where we try to warn you that some of this stuff isn't super good for your mental health. So, if you need to take a break and go touch grass, listen, we get it. Some of this stuff can be pretty rough. Welcome back, everyone. How's everyone feeling? I'm sorry to hear that. I'm also not doing super good either.
Dead.
Yeah, are you okay? That's how you're doing? You're dead?
Continue.
Well, okay.
I'm just going to wheeze over in the corner, apparently, because that's all I've been good for so far.
No, I mean, you also did the horse podiatrist part.
Yay!
I can't do that part. Because horses, I don't like to get around horse feet at all.
That's
if I can
a nay
help
from
it.
you?
That's a hard nay. It's a hard nay. Coffee break. Hold on a second.
You deserve that.
I had that coming. Karma, if you're listening.
Oh, man.
On today's show, we're going to be taking a deep look into our shared frontier history. And we're going to bring you only the most cutting-edge Wild West medical technology.
Ooh.
Well, the cutting edge of a bloodletting scalpel at the very least. Looking back...
Oh.
Yeah. Looking back, with all of our antibiotics, painkillers, and hyper-accurate monitoring equipment, the medicine we used to rely on can kind of seem like backwards-ass tortured methods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I recently watched A Million Ways to Die in the West, again, and one of my favorite parts is where they talk about not wanting to go to the doctor because the cure was most oftentimes worse than the illness.
Because it's not just a joke, it's real?
No, that was a real thing. That's probably the most accurate thing.
Okay, I could see that, yeah.
Today we'll be talking about a few medical procedures that are going to seem like they came straight out of the Dark Ages, or the Spanish Inquisition.
Ooh, fun.
That's a hard thing to say, Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Words are weird, like road. Road. In the old Wild West, you had three choices when it came to an injury or illness. You could do nothing and hope it got better on its own.
Hopes and prayers.
Which it sometimes did. You could go to a doctor, who, in those times, was almost as good as doing nothing. Okay. Sometimes they were worse. And finally, you could try to treat yourself with an elixir made from questionable ingredients sold by questionable characters.
You mean the snake oil salesman?
I'm glad you said that. This was the golden age of snake oil salesmen. Snake oil, by the way, had been a traditional Chinese remedy used to relieve pain and inflammation, specifically for arthritis and bursitis.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
This is due to the high omega-3 fatty acid content of Chinese water snakes. The black-banded sea crate specifically, which had been used for traditional Chinese medicine for centuries.
Wait, so what you're saying is the snake oil salesman, it was a literal thing. It was real.
Yes, I'm going to go
that actually worked.
All of that, yes.
I'm sorry, just pardon me while I'm shocked for a second.
Welcome to the premise of our podcast where I tell you things that are real but are shocking from history. Snake oil wasn't just real, it actually worked. It was real medicine for centuries.
Oh, wow.
Now, let's get into the dark side of it. In 1989, an analysis of snake oil bought in San Francisco's Chinatown found that it contained 20%, bear with me here,
All right.
icosapentaenoic acid,
There's a mouthful.
which is more than is found in popular omega-3 food sources such as salmon.
Oh, really?
20% more than what's in salmon.
Oh, wow. In a snake.
Snake oil.
Oh, snake oil. Okay.
Okay. Which it seems made it an effective medicine. With the westward expansion of the railroads and the lure of gold in them there hills, many Chinese immigrants brought their medicines with them.
Makes sense.
And it didn't take long for people in these western towns to not only trust these cures, but to respect them.
Really?
Yes.
That's only surprising because I know how racist those people were.
Yes, that's called the future, and it's going to get worse.
And by those people, I mean the westward white expansion people, not the immigrants necessarily.
All of this is upcoming.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Stepping on your toes. Continue.
Enter into the story now the morally bankrupt, greedy, and unscrupulous men who would eventually earn the moniker the snake oil salesman.
Okay.
In the beginning, some of them, at the very least, sold the cures the Chinese couldn't physically market to their customers, mostly because of the language barrier and the social stigma of doing business with them. It was because they couldn't make the inroads to the white businessmen.
I get you. Yeah, it's all in the look. It's a marketing thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were basically like Flo from Progressive, just a figurehead. Those were like to sell you Progressive insurance at a reasonable price.
Saying the right words.
Progressive, if you're listening, we need money and we don't have morals. Anyway, I could be Flo, is all I'm saying. Morally bankrupt, where were we? Yes. It was during this time that anti-Chinese legislation was at its height. Anyways,
Oh, great.
these first snake oil salesmen didn't make their own formulas. They were simply middlemen who only got that job because of, well, racism. It didn't take some of them long to figure out that they could cut the Chinese out completely by making and selling their own snake oil,
Because racism.
which they did. And instead of Chinese river snakes and their high omega fatty acids, they caught and killed and boiled whatever snakes they could find.
Yeah, there's a snake, stick it in the bottle.
Kill it.
Oh my God.
For the most part, rattlesnake oil was the more popular of the choices when it was advertised.
I don't know if you're going to cover this. Did they check between the snakes, or does rattlesnakes have no bearing whatsoever to the words? Goodness.
Get it, girl.
What I meant is if it was specifically from this snake from a different continent and they used rattlesnakes here, it didn't do the same thing.
Did not have the same
It's just-
omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay.
It was like, those supplements, the fruit and vegetable ones that they're not supposed to be able to sell to
Yeah.
you. It's like those. It does contain fruit, just not what you need
Not
to be
what
helpful.
you think. Gotcha. Yeah. Wow, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, don't buy those things.
Yeah,
in the
no.
red and the green bottles.
Yeah.
Don't buy them.
They've been told multiple times to stop,
Cease and desist.
and they continue. So anyways.
Soon, it wouldn't take these same pieces of shit all that much time to start a campaign demonizing the Chinese and their snake oil.
Of course.
And then cornering the market, taking advantage of the racial sentiment of the day and labeling Chinese snake oil as untrustworthy.
Okay, so first it was totally trustworthy and people relied on it. And then the moment when somebody got in there and was like, you know what? I speak the language, they don't. I'm taking this.
Greed's a bitch.
Man, I hate that so much.
It gets worse. We're not even full circle yet.
Okay.
When the Chinese were cut out of the snake oil selling market completely, it became very difficult to find actual snake oil. So these fuckers started putting in whatever was cheap and available. The only ingredient they made sure was in every bottle was either laudanum, which is a very powerful opiate liquid, or cocaine, which, come on, if you don't know what cocaine is, I don't know, go watch Scarface or something and then
Right?
come back.
Come on.
Well, wait, just pause the episode. Well, welcome back.
Welcome back.
That got dark, didn't it?
Did not see that coming. Or did you?
Depends on how much Scarface you watched. what did you have a joke there for?
No, I didn't have a joke. I had a point.
Oh, make your point, baby.
Okay, so you talked about laudanum. For those of you who do not know what laudanum is that laudanum is basically the great grandpa to heroin, except for it was in liquid form.
Yes.
And laudanum was often given to women for a whole bunch of different reasons. Babies, they give them to babies, but women for their monthlies, when they were talking too much,
Had a limp.
didn't like parties,
She's hysterical.
couldn't sleep,
Masturbate.
slept too much.
Too much, yeah, the whole,
Yes.
I said masturbate, but I need her to maybe explain out of a woman's mouth what I mean by that.
Yeah, so this was during the time when they thought that women were evil just because they owned a vagina. Yeah, just real fun times for women. Anyways, they had this idea that if women masturbated more, they would be less hysterical.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise, that's when vibrators were created because doctors used to do it by hand.
Yeah, you see the handle cranked ones? Yeah. Technology has come a long way. Friend of the pod technology.
I can't imagine as a woman being like, I'm sorry, honey, I have to go to the doctor to get my weekly or whatever finger pounding from the doctor. I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours. The hell, man?
I'm just gonna go get finger blasted by my local
Don't worry, the doctor's doing it, babe. I'll be back.
Oh my god.
Modern technologies, folks. Anyways.
And we're gonna take a break. And welcome back.
For those of you who are just joining us, we were talking about medicinal finger blasting.
That's right, we were. We were talking about, well, not just medicinal finger blasting.
Old-timey
medicinal finger blasting. We were also talking about laudanum and cocaine, which were in just about every single elixir on the market. The wild-ass West makes a lot more sense now, right? These elixirs were available almost everywhere. Sometimes sold out of the back of wagons, found in stores, and most notably, barbershops of the day. If you think about it another way, these elixirs are sold and distributed the same way that sex tapes are today.
What? Oh my god, they are.
I'd like to remind everyone that R. Kelly's sex tapes were sold at Tower Records.
Oh my god.
And I've bought more, I've bought so many things out of barbershops, North Carolina barbershops, thank you so much. There was one time I got a pork shoulder for a barbecue at a barbershop.
What?
Yeah. Speakers, cologne, clothes. You could, that's where the traveling salesmen go.
That is crazy. I have never heard of anything like this.
Right.
So,
but you could also buy Wonder Cures from these same places. Still.
Oh my god. All right.
You know that I can't remember what it's called. It's that black soap. It's made out of it, but it eats away your skin.
Oh, is it the black African soap or the black walnut soap? Because there's two.
I can't remember what it's called, but the guy was selling these, and the guy was like, "No, man, you scrubbed off half my face. It was supposed to work for your acne."
Oh my god.
But the bar soap itself was black, and it was made from some sort of oil.
Okay.
And I don't know what it was, but these elixirs are still sold today.
Oh my.
In some way, shape, or form, the cures,
I'm only surprised because there's so many more laws and protections and loopholes, or not loopholes, things you have to jump through in order to get anything done in America. That still happens.
Just tell you, just go to a barbershop. You'll find it.
All right.
You'll find whatever you're looking for. I found a pork shoulder, like I said, and I wound up smoking that pork shoulder for 18 hours with mesquite and did a nice honey glaze. It was delicious.
Now I'm hungry.
Uh-huh. So these colonizers colonized the idea of selling snake oil, and they did what they do, which is to add lead and mercury to almost everything.
Ooh, yummy.
Most of these concoctions are seen today as kamikaze mixtures of drugs and poisons that were more apt to kill you than to fix your toothache.
And make you crazy and angry and, hey, it's starting to add up as to why there was so much problems and violence.
West.
Yeah, okay, continue.
Which, for that, you should go see a barber in the Old West as well. Not only would they pull that rotten tooth out of your head, but they would also do minor surgery. This is why the barber pole is red and white. Not only is it a callback to the ancient Greek symbol for medicine, the two snakes around the staff with wings. but it was also a physical representation of what you could find there. The red for the medicine and bloodletting, and the white for the soap, for the baths, and the ubiquitous lather of shaving cream.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dentists would do dental surgery, cut off keloids and skin tags, apply leeches, and do bloodletting, as well as a bunch of other stuff. And to do all of that stuff, they used elixirs and a lot of laudanum.
I'm sorry, I'm silent over here because my mouth is open. I did know part of that, because doctors were rare in and of itself.
Right, but barbers were not.
No.
I actually go into that right now. Oh, I got the wrong thing. Back in the early West, there was a shortage of doctors, or people who call themselves doctors. In fact, it wasn't all that uncommon to find yourself in a town without a doctor, but it was uncommon to find yourself in a place without a barber. You see, beards like my...
What now?
I wrote this for you. You see, beards like mine were seen as a sign of mental illness back in the day.
Excuse me, what?
Sane people let drug addicts with straight razors shave them, and that's how you knew they were sane.
Okay, because that makes sense. What?
Well, they saw beards back in the day as you weren't able to take care of yourself. They're like, oh, he must have suffered a loss of a loved one or something.
So, like, unkempt?
Yeah.
Yo, so you're telling me all of these, like, Civil War soldiers and stuff who had beards, that they were seen as mentally unwell because they had beards?
In a certain part of Europe and in polite society, yes, absolutely. Unless it was decorative, like you're talking about old Burnside with his chops.
Yeah.
Different story.
Oh?
Just like in A Million Ways to Die in the West, if you had a beautiful mustache or you were able to upkeep it and
coiffed, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. If it was a decorative face piece, then that was different. But you had to be rich enough to be able to afford the creams and waxes. Like my beard right now is full of beeswax and natural oils and coconut oils, but I also make them myself because I make my own beard haberdashery.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is a differentiation in the beard etiquette, if you will, is one takes time, energy, and effort to make it look one certain way, and the other one is, well, you just woke up.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've taken all the other problems or hierarchy out of it. You just woke up, so you must be mentally ill. All right. Okay.
Until the railroads connected everything, these were your only choices for medical care on the frontier. Mm-hmm. But with the railroads, the kind of care increased because better medicines could finally make their way to the people that needed them.
Okay.
The quality of the ingredients also increased in these elixirs. Since now people could talk about their experiences with these snake oil salesmen, soon word got out that these charlatans, what they were about, and they disappeared all but overnight after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when the railroad showed up and people could talk, like when somebody was on a train from Topeka all the way to Salt Lake City, if they had taken somebody's nasty-ass snake oil and it killed their mom or whatever, they would tell people.
Oh, of course, because, yeah.
So, like, overnight, like, the out of the back of the wagons, all of that, they had to fold up shop and fucking run for their lives. And many of these snake oil salesmen were tarred and feathered.
Oh, wow.
Which is a real-ass thing.
Yeah.
And that kills people, Carl.
It does kill people, Carl.
It doesn't. It's not one of those things that people often survive from, which was the whole point.
It's not cute.
Yeah.
No.
Right. But in Disney movies, they tar and feather people all the time.
Right.
As I said before, not all of the people that called themselves doctors were actually doctors.
Oh, can I say real quick? I know you're going to finish this. All I keep thinking of is like Dr. Death.
Dr. Doom?
No. The actual modern Dr. Death. You know, the guy who did all the wax surgeries.
Which one?
In Texas.
Oh,
that
the
didn't
guy
have,
that decapitated his best friend?
Right, that didn't have all the stuff that he said he had.
He did have a doctorate.
Right, but I'm just thinking of people like that.
Oh, yeah.
But in their pioneering days, where you can't call and say, hey, did this guy go to your university? Hey, did this guy get
Actually, you're wrong.
Really?
They did. They sent letters back. A lot of the times, doctors had to get like patronage from whatever college they supposedly went to.
Okay.
This was later on. Like there was this doctor fight. I don't talk about it in here, but these two doctors wound up in the same mining town, and the doctor that was there had a mining concern, and he had already established himself as like the Dr. Quinn medicine whatever dude of the area.
Okay.
Anyway, this other doctor comes in, and he's a better doctor.
All right.
Like, he actually has medicines and knows how to treat people.
Okay.
But this other doctor has been thick with the miners for, like, years. So, basically, they fight each other, and the doctor... so the minor doctor is like, let me see your diploma if you're a fucking doctor. And he shows him his diploma. The minor doctor rips up his medical diploma in front of him. The doctor that got his diploma punches him in the face.
I mean, fair enough.
And then the minor doctor, said that they should duel. And then the minor doctor got killed by the fucking East Coast doctor. And the East Coast doctor took over his mining concern.
All right, then.
And became the doctor of the town. And everyone's like, yeah, he's a better doctor. We don't care.
So he's like, I'm a miner, not a doctor.
I mean, yeah. He was a doctor that had a minor in mining.
Oh, my, sir. But,
Okay.
yes.
But that actually happened.
Oh, my God, that's crazy.
In Oregon, there was an actual Dr. Quinn medicine woman.
Really? She existed?
She existed.
I used to love that show.
We should cite the specifics right here and like pause it and Google this lady.
But we're hacking frauds, so
We're
you know.
hacks and frauds, but just hey, if you guys Google it, then you could tell other people, and then maybe make it back to me. We could Kevin Bacon this whole thing and find out who she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 degrees of Dr. Quinn medicine woman. Okay, I gotcha.
As I said before, not all the people that called themselves doctors were actually doctors. In that time, one simply had to tell people that they were a doctor, and that's all it would take.
Doctor.
I mean, to be honest, they're like, hey, who feels comfortable digging in old Earl's shoulder to get that lead ball out? You know what? I'll do it. Okay. Yeah, I don't even like Earl anyway. He just became our doctor. Look at, he's so dashing, like the Clooney of his day. Anyway, that's all it took. You just had to be comfortable digging in your buddies.
Oh.
Or random strangers.
Grandma's got the piles. Will you come look at this? Oh, I need 2 chickens for that. I'm sorry.
I will mudlark in your grandma all day long for 2 chickens.
And a bag of potatoes? Absolutely.
For the most part, you're not wrong, because that's how they got paid. Most doctors in the town were not rich. And we need to go back to that. Like, listen, if you go to a proctologist, you bring him a chicken, and you're like, no, that's it. Mm-hmm. This is the expectation. Because that's how it was back then.
I know this because I had conversations with my grandfather, who was born in 1924. And that's how the doctors were in his town. They got payment through food.
That's right.
And my grandma had the only chicken eggs in the area. So that's what they paid the doctor at.
They had universal health care because they had chickens.
Keep the doctor fed, keep the town folk happy.
Chickens are the secret to, well, all of this, I guess. They're just the key to the whole happiness cycle. Unless,
of course, you're a fake doctor, and then everything's null and void.
There were plenty of real doctors, but you were never quite sure if that's what you were dealing with.
I need to look at your bona fides.
Sometimes problem arose from having, I already just talked about that, blah, 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 blah. Indian medicine was seen by these doctors as backward and primitive. But that didn't stop them from stealing the recipes for their medicine and passing it along to the whites as their own.
Okay, look, I'm going to use a word that I absolutely hate. So these people viewed Native Americans as savages, but then they go in and steal everything, and then go, you know what? It's ours now, so it's fine.
Much like the snake oil salesman, these doctors had no problem colonizing Native American medicine while at the same time lowering respect and trust for the people who actually developed it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, see, next time I'm just going to point at the script. Oh, now would be a good time to talk about Mullen.
Oh.
I actually put that in the script because my wife is, well, you're about to find out.
So, mullein is one of the very first herbs that I found out about when I started learning about plant medicine. Growing up in Flagstaff, Arizona, my siblings and I would play around with mullein because they have really long stalks of like a flowery top that you could beat each other with like a sword.
But what does it do specifically?
Oh, my apologies.
Was it outlawed? And was it able to be cultivated? And why was it not able to be cultivated?
Okay, yes, I'm sorry.
Specifically, not how you and your
homeschooling
fiddle brood.
Okay, so this plant is insanely cool because
That'd be a killer band name.
The Native Americans used to use it for fishing.
They used to use it to kill fish.
Yeah, and it's outlawed in a lot of the states because of that.
But we actually took So in the beginning, hey, y'all at home, remember at the beginning when she said horse podiatrist and maker of tinctures? Well, she makes a mullein tincture here in the house that we both took today because we were feeling, well, croupy and under the weather.
It's a natural...
Full of lung butter. What?
It's a natural expectorant.
Yes, and it works really well. It's nicer than Mucinex, that's for sure.
With less side effects, yeah. Yeah. So, thank you for putting that in there.
You're welcome.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Right. Many of the doctors in the Wild West were veterans of the Civil War who had to do very traumatic amputations without anesthesia. In some cases, from sunup to sundown.
Bite on a stick.
These doctors got very good at amputating body parts. Comfortable would be another way to say it. So
that makes me uncomfortable.
Right. So when they went west, they took their preferred method of treatment with them. Compound fractures that would be set today and put in a cast on, they wouldn't hesitate to cut the whole thing off. In many cases, they chose to simply cut off the infected part to try to save the patient. Even if the infection wasn't presented, if the wound looked like it might possibly become infected, those parts were also cut off.
So they just turned into sadistic Queen of Hearts? Off with their leg! Or whatever.
In some cases, yeah.
Okay.
So theoretically, you could have a finger wound and wind up losing your entire hand.
Oh my God.
Depending on how comfortable the doctor was with sawing. One of the reasons that doctors started being called sawbones.
That's where that came from. Okay.
Many of the doctors that worked during this time were seen to be doing the devil's work. During this time, the whole idea of cutting into a human body on purpose was seen as taboo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
From then until now, doctors have rehabilitated the way that society sees them. But during those dark times, people just didn't trust doctors. In the cities, the medical care that was in vogue were the apothecaries.
Right.
A place where you could go and get a learned person to make you a health potion.
Those very same cities are the cities where doctors would take corpses or pay for people to steal corpses so that
Baltimore?
they could, learn how to do surgeries. Of course, doctors were not looked upon as very well. They were almost ghouls in some aspects, in some areas.
Well, one of the way that the word is used is ghoul for that reason.
Exactly.
It was also a place where you could purchase herbal remedies, folk medicine, and of course, laudanum and cocaine.
Yay!
As well as mercury and other things that we know now are poisonous.
So uppers and downers.
That's right. It was widely believed that these were the best places to receive care unless you had a bullet wound. And even then, if it wasn't in a vital area, it was best to avoid the doctor and get a salve or a poultice instead.
Just leave it where it lies.
Right. There were so many untreated bullet wounds. There were so many people that were buried. I remember there was a historical society that was talking about having to move all of the graves in a ghost town.
Okay.
And how almost all of the coffins rattled because people were laid to rest with so many lead bullets that, when the tissue dissolved away, it's like the coffin's like a maraca.
Oh my God.
Not because of the bones, because you can hear the lead in
oh
the
my
coffins.
Yeah. That's macabre shit.
That's what it's like out here living in the Wild West. Yeah, but that. So if you took a bullet to a place that wasn't it wasn't in a bone or whatever, and if it didn't get infected, most people just didn't go see the doctor. They just wound up carrying around buckshot with them for the rest of their life.
Or straight up pellets or the.
That's what I just thought.
Not buckshot. What's the big one?
The ball.
Yes. Carrying balls around in their body.
Imagine the audacity of carrying balls around in your body.
Oh, my balls.
My balls.
Not that one, the other ones.
The other ones. The ones that are making me crazy.
They're rolling around.
The other ones. The ones that are going to kill me. No, the other ones.
the other ones.
Oh, God. One of the only accurately portrayed things in Western movies is how many people were just walking around with untreated bullet wounds. As a matter of fact, the amount of people that probably went bug fuck crazy from lead poisoning due to gunshot wounds has to be pretty high. Not to mention that even bird hunting with a shotgun would flavor inject lead right into the meat. All those people just absorbed a butt ton of lead.
Yep, and it was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Don't forget there was also pewter lead plates. And cups and stuff like that where they're like, no, it's fine. Yeah, and a side effect, folks, of lead is anger. Insanity.
Rage!
Yeah. You wonder what it would take for somebody to go out in the middle of the desert and off somebody, put them in a hole just to get their mining claim. It's far more than just greed. It's lead, folks, and greed and other things.
Speaking of all of greed and lead and all of that, would you like to become a doctor?
Sure.
Right now?
Why not?
Okay, so you're going to be enrolled in the V12 School of Wild West Medicine.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. For things like bleeding, wood ashes or cobwebs should be used to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
Also, if that doesn't work, use gunpowder, flour, or tobacco.
Okay. Is it bad that I know why all of those would work, but still, no. That's terrible.
They work somewhat.
For different reasons.
Somewhat. They will also
Somewhat.
kill you.
Exactly.
For a case of cholera,
Okay.
you could be expected to be treated with red pepper in whiskey or brandy. Also, burning barrels of pine tar outside of your window. But yeah. So, what?
So, pepper you full of pepper and
whiskey,
alcohol.
yes.
And then smoke you out.
And then put pine tar on fire in barrels outside your open windows.
I could see how that would kill.
Okay. On the Santa Fe Trail in 1849, Dr. Bouchard tried using pills made of camphor, cayenne pepper, opium, and calomel, a mercury chlorine metal.
Oh, no.
Or if that wasn't possible, he would go in the back door with rectal injections of medicine made of sugar of lead, laudanum, and gum arabica.
What the hell? Those are all words, but why would you put them together and then boof them?
Boof. Yeah.
Not boop, you're boofing them.
I like beer. Do you like beer?
No longer do I like beer. Right.
Let's say your patient has a cough.
Okay.
Well, get ready to give him some onion syrup.
What?
Yeah, they used onion syrup, like cough syrup.
I don't want to shop where they shop.
Right. Or a paregoric, a mixture of opium and camphor. As an expectorant to clear out some of that lung butter, they would prescribe carbonate of ammonia, or muriate. In a pinch, linseed oil, honey, and Jamaican rum specifically.
Oh my God. Some of these things are topical. Some of these things are breathing. Some of these things you're ingesting. And none of which I would take together the way that what the hell?
That's called medical theory. We'll get into that in your finals. When we're that's right before we
later on my doctoral thesis.
You're almost a doctor. Calm down.
Okay, all right.
We just have 3 more things to cover.
Okay.
And you're a doctor.
All right.
For fever, they use tar derivatives as sleep producers. They also use sassafras tea, used with aconite, you may know it as wolfsbane, to control them. So,
okay.
You want to talk about wolfsbane for a second?
It's a poison?
There you go.
It's a deadly poison? I'm
for a fever.
I'm so sorry. And then sassafras tea, which is, if I remember correctly, that's a calming. I still don't understand why they would. Okay, continue.
In 1866, a doctor recommended a liniment mixture of sulfuric ether, aqua ammonia, and muriate of ammonia, that's ammonium chloride, and that was to be poured on the scalp of all painful parts the scalp and all painful parts every 2 to 3 hours until the pain abates. Those are all.
Okay, what the fuck? Number one, sulfuric ether, if I remember correctly, is the precursor to ether before you do all the work to pull it out.
It's not good.
It's horribly acidic. It will burn the skin off of somebody if you get it on there. What were the other ones on there that you were talking about? Like what?
Aqueous ammonia, which is... So they used ammonia
Yeah,
for just about everything.
a lot of acid-based... Yeah, and they wanted you to put that on your face or inhale that?
On his scalp.
On his scalp.
And that was until the pain abates. So how long does that take for you to be like, this is worse than the fever? I'm going to go ahead and just die of hallucinating over here.
I'm starting to understand, due to generational trauma, why many generations are like, shut up, kid, you're not dead. You're fine. Breathe through it.
Yeah. Yeah, just got the wind knocked out of you.
Because we did stupid shit like this to each other for how long? Oh my God.
Speaking of stupid shit, for snake bites, raw beef or chicken flesh were used to draw out poison, as was vinegar mixed with gunpowder. Some doctors would cauterize the wound with nitrate of silver and then give their patients ammonia and whiskey.
The burning. All of the burning.
Uh-huh.
So they cauterize the wound once you got a snake bite with We'll just close it up with the
Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also works for vampires and werewolves.
And also gunpowder.
Uh-huh.
What the hell? Yeah, we'll just seal it in there. You're fine.
The gunpowder was medicine. I don't know if you realize that. The gunpowder was medicine.
Also, an insane inducer. It ups your testosterone levels.
All
yeah.
kinds of bad
Breathing
stuff.
it, touching it, all that fun stuff. Yeah, let's just pour that on your wound. Holy shit.
For the terrifying and deadly yellow fever characterized by chills, high temperatures, headaches, delirium, and swollen joints, treatments included doses of quinine, sulfate of magnesis, and calomel, which were only partially effective and fatal relapses were common. For sexually transmitted infections,
Oh, here we go.
like syphilis, they used toxic metals such as arsenic. They would also heat up a piece of metal and jab it into your pee-pee hole.
So they just ramrodded the insanity right up the... Okay.
More of an attempt to dissuade you from seeking more sexual pleasure and spreading the disease further. Nothing quite says, I'm not in the mood, kind of like a red-hot poker jammed into your bottom front out hole.
Bottom front alcohol. No kidding. Is that the beginning of the origins of, hey, you keep doing that, it's going to fall off? Makes sense.
No, I think that disease does that on its own.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is the Wild West doctors were like, Wild Bill Hickok has got to stop having sex with all these prostitutes. He's killing prostitutes more than he's shooting people.
Wait, they did that to Wild Bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my. Is that why they got the wild name to his...
It was mostly because he'd kill people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
For all the reasons.
Yeah, but he had, he had mercury. They jammed a red hot piece of copper down his pee-pee hole. We have a thing today in medicine called a bore punch, which is about as close to that as you can get.
Yeah.
But that's with a Q-tip, and that's not glowing red. And normally they at least try to give you like a local anesthetic or like a topical anesthetic. No anesthetic but whiskey or laudanum.
Which, granted, that's a pretty heavy hitter, but still, no.
No.
You still feel it. It's not like putting you under. It's
Some other things that they used pine sap to as a bandage to close wounds.
as well as honey.
As well, honey, if you could find it, because spoiler alert, bees were very difficult to come across back then because white people colonized bees too.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for the honeybee, like call back to previous episodes we talked about. I think you should leave invasive species.
Right.
The European honeybee is not from around here, and it had to be brought west.
Right.
And it took a long time for apiaries, that's places where people make and keep bees to make honey.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. It took a long time for those to move west because it was seen as a luxury for a lot of people and not medicine. Now, natives also had local honey, which the American bee, which was displaced by the European honeybee, which would later be displaced by the Africanized honeybee we know as killer bees, used to make a bitter honey that they use for medicinal purposes that they found. But those bees, you can't find them anymore.
Of course.
Right. Let's see. Oh, my God. Ashes were probably the number one treatment for everything, which is why everybody had scars back then. Not only would they use the charcoal from the campfire to get rid of food poisoning or like intestinal parasites, things like that, but they'd also use charcoal and wet ashes to put into a wound to keep it, acted like a bandage or like a styptic pen where it would soak up and make a barrier so that people could scab.
How far we've come.
They used to brush their teeth with I'm trying to remember, is like diatomaceous earth.
There are multiple different ways.
And like it made people's teeth fall out, which for that you go see a barber.
Just crazy to me. And the things that a barber would cover too. Just here I'll give you a shave and a bloodletting at the same time. It's all right. Sit back.
Shave with some blood loss. 2 bits.
There you go.
There it is. The truth is, the Wild West was an unending nightmare full of terror for those that lived through it. There really was a plethora of things that were trying to kill you on a daily basis, from bad water to outlaws. It was all terrible. Movies nowadays portray the whole time through a very romanticized lens.
Yeah.
They conveniently leave out probably the most important parts, like how the West was colonized.
Yeah.
In areas where no human should live, in those places we now have cities. Cities like the one this episode was written in.
Yep.
If it weren't for the never-ending waves of excited and industrious immigrants, none of this would be here today.
True, yeah.
It's both beautiful and disgusting. Just like all human progress.
Yeah.
Our country's westward expansion is both shameful and glorious at the same time.
That's true and painful.
You know what else is shameful and glorious at the same time?
What's that?
Whoring ourselves out for money.
All right, let's do this then.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back.
Feels different in here. Did we just accidentally meander into the karmic suggestion box?
Well, I guess that's what just happened.
Oh, this is the part of the show where we like to ask karma to fill in the gaps of justice and see it done. Hopefully in whimsical and humorous ways. Then we like to flip around super fast and pull a crazy Ivan.
Whatcha? Oh, wait. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
She's getting good at this. Where we ask karma to do something good for someone who is doing good.
That one.
This week, I'm going all in on a special kind of landlord.
Ooh.
You know the ones I'm talking about.
I do.
Karma, if you're listening, please make it so that these slumlords fall into or are dragged into the nearest possible sinkhole that they refuse to pay to have repaired. Make it so.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
With a falling Wilhelm. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Alrighty then. This week, since we covered medicine in the Wild West, appealing to karma, in my opinion, that in the year of our Lord, 2024, the things we just heard about aren't that far away from how women are treated in medicine today.
Ain't that the truth?
The female anatomy is still pretty much seen as a medical mystery.
Where do they come from? What do they look like?
Oh my god.
What are they?
What is it?
Check its vibe.
The vibe is bad! And honestly, it's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
To those doctors who think that they know, but prove that they don't by their actions, may they somehow suffer in a way that will not affect their patients in any way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, what did you say? Like invisible?
Yeah, like an invisible thumbtack every time they go to sit down. You know?
It only hurts them. Doesn't
only
hurt
hurts
their
them, yeah.
Their patients are already dealing with shitty doctors. They shouldn't have to deal with their shitty doctors who are also sick.
Yeah.
So, in that case, I love that. So you're saying, yeah, make them suffer, but don't make their patients suffer twice.
Just a little bit of a pain in the ass so that they can understand, oh, wait, maybe I need to not be a pain in the ass. I don't know. Make it so.
Make it so. Now, for my crazy Ivan.
Whoop, whoop.
Karma, if you're listening, please make it so that all animal shelters that are overcrowded from the cowards dropping their dogs off, please make it so that they magically find all of the space and resources they need. Also, all of the babies get adopted to the best homes imaginable. Let it be so.
Let it be done. Yeah. Because that one's starting to be a real difficult.
A lot of people are just dropping their dogs off outside and leaving them.
Just today, we saw yet another dog.
Yeah, it was a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Long-haired Chihuahua.
The shelters here in Las Vegas are overrunning.
Yeah.
They are over capacity and they can't take in any more dogs. So people are just letting their dogs out their front doors.
So if you're looking to adopt a dog, right now, Las Vegas is the place.
Yeah.
Like any kind of dog you could think of. Hey, Las Vegas isn't that far from everywhere, or anywhere, for that matter.
That's for dang certain.
So come on out, get a dog. Get a cat. I think they might even have capybaras out here. Like, just come out and look and get one.
Help an animal out, you know?
Yeah.
So for my week's positive karma, I would like to give a shout out to the single mothers. Women who bust their hump every day, holding down a job, raising kids, cleaning the house.
All while carrying a hump.
Right. All of the crazy amount of things it takes to raise a kid in the modern day. I'm just saying, I see you, Queen. Karma, please visit these women with 10 minutes of time in their day of which they are able to relax, noise, chaos, and bill free. Nice. Kind of like the Thursday's medical pod in the Treaty of the Coil.
Oh, yeah, because in the Treaty of the Coil, in the Rising Titan series, anytime humans have mental health problems, they go into this medical pod that simulates their Thursdays from back on Earth.
Exactly.
Like with Thursday activities like doing the laundry or going to the DMV, but the other way you want to do it is to say, so like Fridays and a Thursday pod.
Like Fridays and a Thursday pod. Yeah, that one, yeah.
The best day of the week.
Where it's all wonderful and all of the good things come to them and the universe just gives them all of the blessings.
Hell yeah. Just like that.
But like the universe gives them all the things that they need in those 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I can get
like that. Karma, let it be so.
Let it be so. Well, that was actually kind of a fun one.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's fun. We could look back now because tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Traumedy. Gotcha.
Yeah. But, I mean, now we have, antibiotics and stitches and, I don't know, EMDR therapy.
Fancy machines that can see inside your body.
Yeah. I mean, witchcraft.
Yeah. Robots and surgery. All of that.
It's nice to take a look back sometimes and see how far we've come. And also to take a look at how far we still have to go.
Yeah.
Because, look, I want my, my Rick Sanchez, augments, and it's taking too long for bioengineering to come up with the weapons that I need to be, bolted onto my body in places.
Right? Hurry up, science.
Taking too long. Wow. So, at the end, as always, we like to leave you with the best possible vibes.
Absolutely.
Easy to find vibes. Also, I want them to be good, but also plentiful. Like
you don't have to work too hard to get them.
Right. Yeah. Like blueberries in some parts of Canada. You just look around, they're on the ground. You're like, oh yeah. I want your vibes to be like that all week.
Yeah.
Speaking of all week, we're finishing the Tonopah Tidewater, which will be out. We're doing this as this is the cheese in the railroad sandwich.
Oh, I was going to say a floater. I like the cheese so much better, yeah.
Yeah, you want to do a floater one instead?
Well, like a root beer floater,
Oh, I thought you were... Okay.
So the Tonopah Tidewater is the root beer, and this is the ice cream float in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go with cheese.
Okay, I like cheese better, yeah.
We're going to go with cheese. This is also the lettuce and the veggies and the meat. Because we're not going to do another one of these episodes.
This is your metaphor, so I'm going with it.
Are we still doing the Jim Butler episode?
Yeah, but that's not part of this.
Right, what I'm saying is after the Tonopah Tidewater and after the Jim Butler episode...
Oh, yeah.
I think we're done with the Wild West.
Unless I find yet another Wild West story and throw it in later. Yeah, probably.
Oh, we were going to do the femme fatales of the Wild West.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Well... So, like the aforementioned, easy to get at, good vibes. We also like to always remind you to keep your head on a swivel. If you get arrested, shut up.
Don't say nothing. Lawyer,
phone call is all you need to say. And as always, stay elusive.
The Elusive History Podcast is written by Levi Van Scoik. Music by Levi Van Scoik. Produced by Lyndsay Burnett.